Well, it's not a coincidence Danny Green ended up with the Cavs. Smart guy, and championship-level teams like smart players. Danny Green played for the Spurs, now with the Cavs. He's played North Carolina, a champ, all-time great three-point shooter. So you're the guy everybody calls, and they say, you know what we need? We got a young team, and we need this veteran guy to come in here, hit some threes. So this Cavs team, Danny, is it the youngest team? Mobley. I'm looking at the roster this morning. And Allen, Mobley, Mitchell, Garland. It's like a bunch of 23, 24-year-olds. Is it the youngest team you've ever played with?
Yeah, very much similar to my time in Memphis. Memphis had a very young team as well.
Yep.
Very good comparison. I got a chance to go through it a little bit with them to understand how to relate to, the younger group. And now I'm here with Cleveland, so it's a little easier. I've had some practice with it. And, these guys, it's a really good group of guys. Great kids, understand the game, love the game, compete at a high level. And, the coaching staff is really good, too, and teaching them the good habits they need to have in order to be one of those teams at the end of the season. We have a lot of talent, but we know we don't have the most talent. So we have to be more disciplined than the rest of the groups out there in order for us to be one of the last teams standing.
So I love Donavan Mitchell. Spider's great. He and Gobert never quite clicked. That's okay. Some styles don't work. When he came over to the Cavs, my concern, Danny, was he needs the ball sometimes a lot. And it's like, okay, is he going to take the ball out of other people's hands? I want you to talk about Donovan, because he's not Super Bowl centric, but he needs it to score. And late in games, he is a great closer. How does he fit with the young guys handling the ball?
He's done an amazing job. I think he's also learned to score being off the ball as well. And I think him improving his three-point percentage and shooting from the perimeter has helped him a ton, helped his team a ton. The fact that he's able to do that has allowed Darius, allowed Karras, a lot of those guys to make plays and be on the ball some as well. So he doesn't have to have the ball all the time. But, yes, he's done an amazing job of closing games for us, being that guy we need him to be, and being a lot more efficient than he has in his early years. But him improving that three ball has put him on another level, another scale in this league.
So what team in the East? We've said this before. We feel like Milwaukee is sort of built today now to win a title. They've got depth, shot makers, and they've got an older roster. Brook Lopez, Drew Holiday, Giannis. Those are men now. Those are guys, they've been through the playoff wars, right? And then I feel like Philly and Boston are just a notch below. And then I feel like Cleveland has a chance to upset any of them, probably more Boston, Philly than Milwaukee. What team, you've seen all of them. I feel like Milwaukee is just built to win a title.
Yes.
Does it feel like that as somebody that faces them? Stack up the East.
For sure. From unbiased opinion, taking myself away from the team, looking at those groups, I think Boston and Milwaukee are both very good teams and built, but Milwaukee more so than Boston. The thing about the playoffs is in the season is as much as you prepare and how much you think that you're built for that, there's still some luck that has to come into play. And I think, I said, if Milwaukee stays healthy, but a lot of teams this year, even in the West and in the East, have not been 100% healthy. So being healthy is a big part of having that luck on your side. And I said, for us, potentially, I think we will keep everybody will be healthy. If we match up with those teams, healthy or not healthy, we're going to have to outsmart them and have to outcoach them. And I think we do have a good coaching staff that can get the job done. But they do have some experience there. They do have some men there. And it is tough to match up against those teams talent-wise. We do have a good amount of talent, but not as much as them and not as much experience. So for us, we have to say we can't upset anybody, but we'd have to do it by outsmarting them and playing a more disciplined type of basketball for more minutes of the game of the 48 than the other team.
So you played with Tim Duncan. Many are comparing Evan Mobley to Duncan. I remember years ago I was at a gym. I saw Andy Edfield, the coach of USC, and this was several years ago, and he said, we got this kid, Evan Mobley, and he's like, I've never seen a kid improve faster. I mean, he's like, in the last year, he's gone from second round, mid-first, lottery. Tell me what you see with Evan Mobley, who is a remarkable ascending young player.
Potential all-star, man. He has all the tools required to be a great in this league. He stays healthy, he's had played for a long time. He has the length, he has the skill set, the work ethic, the competitive attitude to be, whatever he wants to be. The sky's the limit for this kid. Yeah. He has a lot of length. He's athletic. He understands the game, very smart, has the tools to be able to handle the ball if he wanted to, be able to push the break, and has good touch around the rim and to be able to shoot a mid-range jumper. Now, if he extends that jumper to three-point range, now you got a lot of trouble there. You guys, everybody's talking about Victor Wembanyama. I think Evan Mobley is the guy you need to be prepared for more than anybody.
I'm not really an award guy. Nikola Jokić at Denver is an interesting player. Second rounder. Not a basketball city we talk about. Kind of a point center. He feels weird when he goes to an all-star game. There's no flash to his game, right? And I think some people look at it and they want Embiid. But it's interesting. Jokić is one of those players that we're going to look at his career when he's done and go, did we ever appreciate this guy? What is it like to be? I mean, we know what it's like to be on the floor against Giannis, his length and his dominance. And Embiid is just a tour de force. Jokić is different. It's an odd game. When you're on the floor against him, he could be the MVP for the third year in a row. What do you see on the floor that I don't see as a viewer?
He's a hard guy to prepare for, match up for, because you got to guard him honestly. You got to guard him straight up because he's so good of a passer. Most other guys, most MVP guys are predictable. I won't say predictable, but they're going to put up a ton of shots and score a lot. He will shoot the ball. He will score, but he's going to facilitate a lot. And that's not a usual thing. A lot of guys you said you don't see that we appreciate in this time, like LeBron. LeBron also another guy that is hard to prepare for because he's a pass-first type of guy.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's so good at, and his teammates are so good at cutting out of the post, you kind of have to guard him one-on-one. And one-on-one, he's a mismatch for anybody on that floor because he's just so crafty, and he's a big body, and he uses his body well. And he can shoot from anywhere on the floor. He has very good touch, and he can shoot the three at a pretty high clip. So he's just a hard guy to prepare for. With Joel, hard to guard 100%, probably the hardest player to guard in this league. But that, you could probably double him and throw him off his game a little bit more than Jokić. Jokić, he's going to find a way to give you fits regardless of what you throw at him. You've
been in this league long enough now, 14 years. We got into a Steph Curry topic earlier. I want you to go back to the first time you saw Steph Curry. Now I'm not counting Davidson. The first NBA time you saw him, did you sense, oh boy, he's special? Or did it take you a while?
I think it took most people a while because early on he had ankle injuries.
Yeah.
And he was special. And we saw that he could play at a very high level. We just wasn't sure if his body was going to hold up, if his ankles were going to hold up. So I seen him in college. So I got a chance to see this kid is special before he even got to the NBA. But when he got to the NBA, it was whether or not his ankles were going to hold up. Yeah. But when I got a chance to see him play, it was like, yeah, if they give him the keys, this kid's going to be special.
Yep.
And it was only a matter of time. But, a lot of people, I guess it was viral recently. Rich Paul was talking about the contracts that he signed. A lot of people thought that it was a bad deal that he signed. But at the time, people thought for him, it was a good deal because he was injured so much.
Yeah.
And, that we wasn't sure if he was going to be playing for that many years. They were like, his first deal for 48. And then after a couple of years, that's a bad deal for him. But at the time, they weren't sure if that was the deal that most of those guys got, the top point guards and scorers in that class. That's the deal that they got. And they thought that was a really good deal for him. Ended up being a really bad deal for him because of how special he turned out to be.
Yeah.
But it took some time for most people to believe in it and to see how special he really was. And that was probably about year 4 or so, year 5.
Yep. He's co-founder of The Throne, a one-of-a-kind competition bringing together 16 of the nation's top high school basketball programs. Single elimination tournament airs tonight, tomorrow, Friday on FS1. It's called The Throne. So I imagine there's a team from Detroit, Atlanta, LA, New York, right? Like, without giving it away, tell me the team that I need to keep my eye on.
Well, tonight, you guys got a chance to see the McDonald's game last night. DJ Wagner, Isaiah Collier, they get a chance to match up tonight, I think, as well. Their high school teams get a chance to play each other. So we put the top teams in every state. Obviously, there's some stipulations where every team couldn't join us this year 1. But it's the first time that a national championship for high schoolers, I guess, is brought about. So we're able to bring that to the table, and hopefully it'll grow. We're starting out with 16 teams, hopefully can expand to 34 and 64 teams. But this year is the first year. I'm excited about it. We get a chance to see DJ Wagner, Isaiah Collier go at it, as well as many others amongst the top players in the country go at it this weekend. It'll be on NBA TV as well. NBPA has supported it. It's been a major thing for them to come on board and help us. So I'm excited about it, man. It's been huge, and it's a lot of fun put together. I just can't wait to see the finished product. I was supposed to be there, but I got sick, caught COVID, and didn't make the trip. But I'll be watching it from my living room just like you guys will be.
3-time champ, Spurs, Raptors, Lakers, and he's on a really ascending, interesting, young, talented Cavs team. As always, Danny Green, great seeing you, bud. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.